It's the inside sheet. This week we've got Team Prenevost. Is that what we're saying?
Prenevost.
Prenevost, which is not how it's spelt. It's not how it's spelt. That's why it's confusing for people like me. They're another one of our fun next gen teams. They're coming up through the ranks, and this is a unique experience because this is a new team that's just been put together this year, and obviously due to COVID and all sorts of different issues, they haven't even been on the ice together yet. As well, we've got Coach Sean, and then we've got Matt, the skip, Riley, the vice, Comron, the second, and Wyatt, the lead. Gentlemen, thanks for spending some time with me this evening.
Thanks for having us.
The second's the voice of the team, eh? Good to know. Just taking charge.
Yes, sir.
Man in charge. Man in charge. So, guys, tell me, how did you guys get together as a team? Let's start there because, you know, through COVID and stuff, it's hard to put a team together. So what's made this happen for you guys?
I'll just say it this way. So basically, it was my last year. It's all of our last years of U18. And personally, I wanted to have a serious run at winning provincials and like making nationals. And I've played against all these guys on tour before, and I'd like to say I've always struggled against them. So then if you can't beat them, why not just join them? And that just happened.
But how did it come to be? So like, that's great. You know each other from the tour, right? You're all GTA guys. I've done that as when I was younger. Going through, you see the same people at Spiels and whatever, but how did it actually come to be? Was it at the end of the year you were sitting talking at a club, or?
Oh no, we didn't. I don't think we started talking until after Provs had been the U18 provincials from last year was canceled, and then I know Matt and I had reached out to each other, and at the same time Matt and Com had also reached out to each other, and we started from there. Building the team just over text.
And how did Sean get involved here? Coach Sean, how did you sneak into the picture?
I'm not sure. I got an email from Comron's mother, Sabina, and asking me if I was coaching anybody this year, and I hadn't been. The only gig that I had going for the year was Brock. So she asked if I would sit in and have a look at the guys and talk with the parents, and I said sure. So it's just kind of the way it happened, and I think my name came up because I think Sabina and I were on a web meeting or one of the web presentations from the OCC, and I think that's how it came about. So
ignoring the next gen link. Through the OCC is kind of how you got hooked up with the team. You guys found a coach just through online web seminars. That's kind of cool. That's a unique, very 2001 way to find each other, right? Like, because you guys are all in the GTA. Sean, you're in Niagara.
Yeah.
So it's not like
I'm in Kingston.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Comron, you're at school.
Yeah, I'm from Kingston though, and I'm going.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, staying at home.
So this is just part of, and this is another changing part of curling. It always kind of happened in the men's ranks a bit, but juniors the last 15 years, it's really changed, because back when I was younger, it was almost always you were from the same club. If not, you were from the same zone almost for sure. Being from like a different region was like very odd, but it's almost commonplace now. Did you guys feel that you needed to almost reach out and do something like that to remain competitive?
Yeah, I think a lot of teams these days are not based at the same club. Like last year, I was playing with a guy from London and from Pembroke, so completely like opposite sides of the province. And especially because this year a lot of players aged out, I think it kind of made sense for us as older people to get together despite our geographic differences.
What kind of challenge does that geography put for you guys in terms of, I mean, COVID is a different issue altogether, but you know, you can't have as many team practices when you live in different parts of the province, right?
Yeah, well, we had planned to do a couple practices as a team, like over weekends and stuff when Com wouldn't be have as much schoolwork to do. obviously that didn't pan out as much as we'd hoped, but I think we had all planned to play in a league separately at our own individual clubs, and then get together for team practice every so often. So we're still getting ice time separately, and then just not getting together as often.
Yeah, you can still be on the ice, right? And I think the technology of today obviously allows for a lot more things. You guys can work with Coach Sean on team dynamics. You can work on strategy. You can do everything in that type of stuff online. Now, tell me a little bit about Next Gen in terms of your guys' development and what you've done. Have you hooked up starting that Next Gen program already?
Yeah, so we had a plan put in place in May of last year, and unfortunately this year's, it's because of the changing goalposts this year. We started in right away, and we're pretty aggressive about the physical fitness and the mental training and whatnot before we got on the ice. And unfortunately, as we crept closer to the start of the season, we realized that in all likelihood we weren't going to get a season. And then faint hope was provided that we would eventually get on the ice, that they were going to push some dates back. Unfortunately for his team last year, they were supposed to play provincials in October together from last year, but again, the goalpost moving, we kind of got stalled, and we kind of looked at getting on the ice and making up for lost time, but there really hasn't been anything to like any date that we could say, listen, this is what we're peaking towards, this is what we want to do. So it's kind of been a lost year almost, but we've tried to make the best of it with technology and whatnot. So
it's such a weird time, not just for curling, just for life, right? So you need to, it's just tough all around. How did you guys, did the OCC reach out to you, or did you reach out to them? For some of the other younger teams listening to this, how did you guys get involved in Next Gen? How did that process happen?
Well, I've been involved in Next Gen a couple times already. So I was familiar with the program and about some of the offerings. Riley's mom was quite keen, and she took the lead on starting to put together the proposal. We were anxious the guys were anxious to get their some training in, and add something to the repertoire for a year that wasn't going anywhere on the ice. So it made sense for them to go ahead and apply and see what we couldn't do to get ready to go back on the ice whenever that is. So kudos to Riley's mom for putting together that package and getting us ready to go. And thanks to the OCC for selecting us for the Tier 1 program.
So you've been selected for the program, which is awesome. Now, what are the goals you guys set? Are you, as a new team, are you focused mostly on short-term success, right? Like 1 year, 2 years, or are you guys looking? Have you had conversations about long-term success, or is it just let's start pushing the boulder up the hill and see how far we get?
I think when we first joined the team together, we thought it was just going to be a one season kind of thing, because it was all of our last years in U18, and we would be going off to university after the season was over anyways. But now that the season has been effectively canceled, I don't think we've sort of discussed whether we're going to stay together or not.
You might want to do that.
Yeah. Well,
you might want to have that talk, fellas.
I think regardless, we're all hoping to get the most of what we can out of this year and better ourselves individually and as a team to see success in the future.
I know that COVID's been challenging for everyone. I've talked to a bunch of people, through this process, right? I talked to Lisa Weigel, who, was on one of the best teams in the world with Homan, and then left them and is now on one of the best teams in the world with Jennifer Jones. And she's trying to figure out how to deal with all this through COVID. But for you guys, it's a pretty, like you said, it's your last year of U18. When I was a kid, we didn't even have U18. It was just Bantams, which was 16. But U18 is a really big stepping stone to that U20, or you as a U21 now, stage, right? So, this was what you guys were probably planning for, an important year. So how have you been able to shift that now to start focusing on transitioning into that full junior kind of category?
I mean, personally, it's still sinking in, the fact that our season has basically been canceled. I guess, yeah, now we just got to turn our heads and start to focus on juniors, because in the end, even though U18 is effectively canceled for us and it's over for us, we still have two or three more years to compete for a junior title. So I guess, yeah, now we're just looking towards that.
The four of us have been playing on the junior circuit, like the under 18 circuit, for a while. So the under 18, the under 20 kids are going to be just the same teams that we've played in previous years. So we're all familiar with them. We know them anyways. It's just more of like a title, right? The under 20, but it's going to be the same teams we know.
Yeah, there tends to be a lot of intermixing, I guess, in terms of that age group, right? Because, like, heck, at the full junior, the U20, is it U20 or U21, Sean?
U20.
U20. At the U20, there's often players that are under 18 on some of those teams, depending on the makeup of the team or where they're from or what they have going on. But it's still, I guess I would have to say, and I could be wrong, tell me I'm wrong, but when you always peak for that last year, right? Your last year in a group, that, okay, we're the older, more experienced teams or players. I would assume you guys had really high expectations for the season going in. That's why you are a next gen team. That's why you put this group of guys together. So it has to be disappointing to not be able to see what you could do out on the ice.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's disappointing, but it's important to count your blessings, right? Like, we still have food on the table and a roof over our head, and like, people are going through a lot worse than COVID. So if this is our sacrifice, then I think that's okay.
That's the truth, and that is, like, if that's a great way to look at, if you want to take a pause and think about the bigger picture, right? You're missing hopefully 1 year of curling. Have they officially canceled the season, or is it still being postponed, Sean?
No, it's officially done, I believe.
It is officially done?
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to try anything in the fall or anything?
Oh, I
haven't heard. I don't know.
I've heard rumors and rumblings that there could be something, but nobody's come out and said that this is what's going to happen. And I know these guys would love to have that opportunity, along with a bunch of other teams that are obviously aging out, right? So if it happens, that's great. If it doesn't, then we just continue to train and develop and see where it goes.
Absolutely. All right, guys, give me some of let's go through each and every one of you one by one. Actually, no, let's not do that. What I want to hear is some of your goals, personal, team, whatever, I don't care. I just want to know what you want to get from curling, what you think you can achieve in curling, and what you guys think maybe even as a team, if you continue on together, you can achieve as a team.
I guess I'll start. So I guess originally as a team, our goal was to win U18 provincials and make it to nationals. I guess now we're looking more towards like the U20 aspect of it. Hopefully in 1 or 2 years, win U20 provincials and make it to nationals there. I guess I feel like all of us ideally would want to make it to the bracket, because that's like the top of the best of the best in terms of male curling, for example. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. I mean, just making it to a national would be just a dream come true, I believe, for all of us.
Well, if we're talking long-term goals, I know that for a long time and I still do. I would love to represent our country, Canada, in curling at some point. That would be a long-term goal, though, of course, not seeing that in the close future. But I know I'm sure for short-term goals, ours are all pretty similar. We all want to improve do what we can during COVID to improve our mental game, our physical fitness to be prepared for when we can play.
I think we all just want to get as ready right now as we can so that when we step back on the ice at some point, we're ready to go as soon as possible and we don't have to do too much adjusting.
I think with the shortened season, we could be, if there is a season, we would be jumping right into the qualifiers and then a provincials without having those first couple spiels to get like your feet wet. So I think being prepared right now is more important than ever to be able to achieve our goal of making it to nationals.
I'm sure Coach Sean has talked about peaking and had you talked about it already in this, but I'm sure he's talked to you guys about it and peaking at the right time. And, that's every team's goal is, you perform, but you hit that peak area. You want to do it at the exact time frame that's set with your schedule. That's hard to do when you don't have a schedule, but like you said, if you're able to hit the ground running, you're that much further ahead. And hopefully Next Gen and Sean here can help you reach some of those goals. Guys, I just want to say thank you so much for your time. Good luck. Hopefully you get on the ice sooner than later, and have a good season whenever that season is.